Now, who will start sharing first?
Prof. Chris?
Yes.
So just to remind you, we'll have Prof. Chris talking about best practices in New Zealand.
Okay, I think now you can share.
Okay, so let me introduce today's agenda. Start recording, Dr. Dunia, now.
Recording.
Okay, yeah, and you'll make sure you'll admit people. Okay, so that. طيب, so we are. Thank you again for those who came already on time, and I hope inshallah others will join us. The purpose of today's meeting, this is our third official meeting. We are getting to know each other in the self-sufficiency. So I hope that through these small presentations, we are building some ideas of what we want to do, because the what is more than important than the how. Lots of people have the how. I know each one of you have a different how to do things because you come from different backgrounds. But we should look, as we said in the beginning, about the holistic approach of the self-sufficiency from different perspectives. For that, we are giving presentations and proposing general lines for strategy, and also developing the form. I sent you also a project form, which we'll talk about if we have time. I have added actually one project of Majd. They make it because Sudan always they have this problem. I put them in the first meeting, they couldn't attend also. But we have also a presentation from Sudan. I hope they manage to join. If they manage to join, then I'll give them the priority for the time. We'll try to make it 1 hour, 15 minutes. Dr. Dunia, you remind us. If we didn't finish, we can keep all the next points to the next agenda. Okay, so I hope inshallah we make most of the points. And please try from now on, as Dr. Noor, Dr. Chris, she reminds us, please put your points, feedback on the chat so that we benefit from it and we develop this network. Okay, so welcome, Dr. Chris, please go ahead.
Shukran, thank you very much. Welcome to New Zealand. It's very early in the morning here, and I know we're on different time zones. We've only got 15 minutes for this morning's first session, so I'll be very rapid. You've had the paper sent to you, so I won't bore you with going through all the details in that, and please have a look at that if you would require more information. I'm happy to chat to you offline or answer any questions at the end of this session. My paper is a little bit different from that of many of the others of you, in that in New Zealand we started off with the idea of self-sufficiency, and you'll see on this map that New Zealand is right down, we call ourselves down under. We're at the bottom of the earth, or if you tip it up, we're at the top. And we are a young country, so we actually started off many years ago being self-sufficient. But quite early on in the world's history, we have exceeded what we call the biocapacity. So we're using more resources than there are available. So we've maxed out on that, and quite early on in New Zealand, the same thing happened. Just having trouble with making the slides go for some reason. So what are some of the things that happened in the old days? People came by canoes. They think that they came from parts of the Pacific Island, but they brought with them dogs and rats, and so the native flora, as you can see the small kiwi at the bottom of the screen there, they are now not extinct but quite rare. So one of the things that's happening with the COVID crisis is, although we started off with being self-sufficient, now we're thrust into a situation where increasingly we're cut off, our borders are closed, although we can live quite normally at the moment within our country. We're only letting New Zealanders in a sort of managed way, and so we're now having to reconsider this whole idea of being self-sufficient, because after the early settlers came and brought these other animals with them, and other crops like the kumara, they started to disturb the normal flora that was here. The first peoples, who we call the tangata whenua, killed a lot of moa, which are the big birds, and they became extinct, and a lot of bird species were lost. So early on, even though they were self-sufficient, they weren't actually having a balance with nature. So the first ideas of conservation came at that time, and today there are many different agencies and volunteer groups that actually try to conserve nature. So we started off, because we're such a long way away. We were a Commonwealth country, as I know some of the other participants are today, as was India and so on. We were a Commonwealth country, a long way from Mother England, and so I think they really forgot about us quite a bit of the time, and so we had to just manage along on our own, and we had a protected economy. So if you bought anything, then you had to pay a lot of money for it, because we didn't have many people here to work. And if, for example, if you wanted a car, you had to have overseas funds in your bank account. You couldn't just go and buy one. You had to order one, and then it would arrive. Perhaps, several years later you would get it. Then when the price of oil fell in the 1980s, and the whole world, I think, suffered at this time, as we are again today, then people started to worry about being efficient, and the government at that time brought in a whole lot of reforms, a focus on the free market. We started importing a lot of cheap goods, particularly from China, and tourism and hospitality became much more important in our economy. So what happened then, of course, was that we had a huge impact on the environment, even more than in the past. And so people started thinking not about self-sufficiency, but about sustainability as being more important. And that brings us to today. Let's compare this idea of self-sufficiency with the idea of sustainability. With self-sufficiency, we're thinking about being able to provide everything you need, especially food, without the help of other countries. So, and this is where we are today. At the moment, we're thrust into a situation where we aren't able to trade very much with other countries. We're cut off from the world. In sustainability, we're trying to satisfy the needs of the present without risking the future. So this requires a much more generational view, thinking about the impact of everything we do on the world. So obviously, a sustainable approach, if every country in the world did that, then the whole earth would be able to live within its resources. And this is one of today's challenges. If we look at New Zealand's progress, we're doing quite well on no poverty. We're doing quite well on the quality of education, and because we have a lot of water and wind, we use clean energy. Electricity is affordable, and we're on track for our targets for having economic growth, for innovation, and for gender equality. But our worst results are for climate, because of the number of cattle we have high methane gas production from cows and so on. So this is one of the problems when you start to move to self-sufficiency and you're growing your own crops and animals. you know, agriculture is our biggest the animals produce a lot of methane gas, and we haven't got enough plants. So we have to change our diet and eat more plants. So that's just a summary of the trends there. You can see that the areas we're doing well. The number 12, which has got responsible consumption and production's got a grey dots there, because that's an area that we haven't been collecting all the data required, and something that we're trying to redress at the moment. How can you know if you've got progress if you're not actually measuring the data? So out of a recent analysis just last year, the government identified some priority themes. So we've got to keep focusing on our native plants and animals, the areas that are under threats. We've got to keep looking at how we're using our land, looking at perhaps areas where there's erosion, and making sure that we're not getting urban sprawl. And we've also got to, as I mentioned, look at our environment. We've been applying fertiliser that runs off and contaminates the lakes, which affects the fish life, for example. That's something that we haven't been working on very well, or better inland water than the marine area. So that the marine area is a huge focus going forward. So we'd already identified those themes, and then all of a sudden we got the impact right now of some of the climate issues. Auckland, our biggest city, has had droughts, and that's a direct response to not looking after the whole world, not really looking after climate. So in the lockdown that we've had, for 5 weeks we had to stay in our houses, and we weren't allowed out. It was monitored by the police unless we were going to the doctors, or we were one member of the house was allowed to go out to buy food, and you had to queue 2 meters apart and so on. We had that for 5 weeks, and during that time it was amazing. There was lots of different, the pollution rate in cities dropped. There were lots of birds that we hadn't seen for ages started to become visible. The earth recovered really quickly. So the government decided, well, now we're reopening, let's rebuild the economy. Let's look at a sustainable rebuild. And so it decided to put money into new jobs that were to help with environmental projects. So I think this, I'm very proud of this, and I hope it's something that we can share that other people can do. But as I mentioned right at the beginning, we can't really do this alone as a country. Everybody in the world needs to work on all of these issues, and I do what New Zealand has done and identify the risks in their own area and the priorities. And so we need the whole world to do that. And it's been disappointing to see that the USA has, for example, withdrawn from the World Health Organization. And this is an example of where the world's leaders aren't working together very well. So we can't rely on them. So what we have to do is look in our own local community and think, okay, well, what can we do here? So in our community, we do things like recycling paper, plastics, bottles and cans with the separate containers that we get given, and we put them out every week. We can reuse things. We have charity shops, for example, for the Salvation Army and cancer. And if you've got any spare furniture or old clothes that are clean and suitable to be passed on, you donate those to them, and then they sell them at a very low price, and then other people can reuse them. We're encouraging people to grow things in their own gardens. When we go to the supermarket, they banned plastic bags, so you have to take along a cloth bag or a box, cardboard box, and you pack your own, and that means that you're not using single-use plastic bags. And so we all have to try and conserve energy, switch the lights off and things like that if we don't using the light in a room. And then we've also got local conservation projects, planting trees, reducing possums and so on. And then at an individual level, even the individual voting, looking at the politicians at the moment, we're having an election coming up. So we're all looking to see who are the green politicians and making sure that we're growing things in our own garden, eating less meat and less dairy products and eating more nutritious plant food. As I say, the 3 R's, reduce, reuse and recycle. Buying local, buying things that are made in New Zealand rather than things that are made, say, in China, looking at the labels on clothes, and buying wisely. Do we really need it? Do we really need another television? Or can we manage with the one we have got? Walking more and cycling more rather than taking the cars, that can help the climate, and then joining conservation projects. You know, we have an Arbor Day, tree planting day once a year. And then, as I've just mentioned, our government is taking on some specific things. So that's what we're in charge of that. We can influence our government by voting for people. If we're in a democracy and we have a voting system, we can vote for politicians. Obviously, the whole world doesn't necessarily get the same choices as us, but in our little ways, we can all do something. So here's just some pictures of around my home. That's my my granddaughter there out fishing on the boat. She's caught a trout. The number of trout, you have to have a license. You can't just go and fish for those fish, and you're only allowed 3. So those are the sort of things that are in place to make sure that there's enough for everybody, because 3 is, even one of those big fish is a meal. So you don't really need 3, but if you have 3, you could put some in the freezer or give one to a friend. You're not allowed, the commercial people aren't allowed to catch those trout, only individuals can catch them. I make my own bread, so that's a picture of the bread just come out of the bread maker. And there's a lemon tree, just in our own backyard. We're lucky here with our climate, we can grow things with no effort. And there's the rubbish truck, comes on Monday, and you can see how we have to sort out all the things that can be recycled. And on the right hand side is a picture of our local market. There's one on Saturday, another one on Sunday. People go and have stalls with things that they've made or things they've produced. And this particular stall, perhaps it isn't very obvious what this is, but this is these are what they call pre-loved clothes, and they focus on baby wear, and they're all beautifully presented. They look like they're new, and because often babies only wear clothes for a few months and so on. If you're interested in yourself and how to make a small contribution, you'll see I've put a website there that gives some idea of how to be self-sufficient. If you want to be entirely self-sufficient in New Zealand, you would need to have 10 acres. We have in our lives had 2 small farms. One of them was bigger than that, it was 43 hectares, and the other one would have been about 10 acres. It's quite hard to have a job which you need to have a job to buy the land and to work a farm. We found that really quite difficult. But even if you only have a small garden, as we do now, we've just got a small section, but we can still grow small vegetables enough to supplement our diet. So that's my conclusion to you, that let's try and get the government thinking about alignment of the recovery from the pandemic to be green, and let's do our individual bit and help our communities to work towards that. So that's the end of my presentation. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Prof. Chris, our sister Noor. We are proud to have you and proud to see this really interesting. And I think we want more because I think New Zealand is, I visited that country, and New Zealand is one of the best countries I've seen in the issue of self-sufficiency, and also, as you said, in the environment, because also maybe something maybe you did not mention, or maybe يعني you would have mentioned it in your paper in the future inshallah, or your paper which is published by our journal, is that also you have like more of obligation of the the First Nation people who came earlier than you, earlier than the Europeans, who were the earlier ones that you mentioned.
Yes.
So it is
The
like more of obligation. And yes,
No, we
I
call
think
them the tangata whenua. We call them the tangata whenua, the Māori
the Morai, yeah,
people,
the Morai, yeah.
Yeah.
So can you explain? Can you please mention this a little bit? You still have time.
Well, I did. I have. I got that in the slide. Perhaps I didn't make it clear. Let me just go back to the the slide. Just 1 minute.
Because this is very important, and maybe this is lesson learned. Sometimes, governments they are more obliged to do something with the certain type of people, like farmers, like maybe not necessarily First Nation, but it will help the whole community later. And now we are, I think, gaining the I remember that. Yes.
Right. So this is where I was just talking about that facet. So yes, so the early people that came, who we call our tangata whenua, the Māori people, they have been here only for a couple of 100 years, but we do have a treaty with them, and that was something unique across the world. And I suppose that was really the beginning of the idea of conservation. It's in the actual treaty. It talks about their first right in terms of water, air, and the land. And this is a personal note, I suppose, but our family's very committed to conservation. And my son is the regional director for the Department of Conservation. So he looks after our maanga, our mountain, Mount Ruapehu, and some of the other mountains there. He works with the Māori people for whom that area is sacred. And if there's any, for example, when they want to build the ski fields, the company, who are called RAL, they can't just go and put more ski field poles in to put more chairlifts or something like that. They have to actually have a meeting with the tribes, different hapu, which is the families, all have to be involved, has to be consultation, and sometimes they don't agree. They might say, no, you can't put those poles there because that area is where someone's buried or whatever, and it's very powerful. They actually have to go and build somewhere else. So it's actually enshrined in law. The ancient treaty was written at a time when there was debate about the English version. There was an English and a Māori version. They didn't exactly line up. So there's been legal cases over the years, and with these legal cases, there's clarification now about the meaning of the treaty. So it's a lived document, and this is, I think, unique, as you mentioned. So thank you for bringing that to people's attention.
Okay, I have written some comments anyway. Maybe some of you can read it, but Prof. Chris, please read my comments later, so that we can develop the projects. I think two issues, 2 points that we can take from you is about very important that we evaluate in our project form. And our strategy, we evaluate things relevant to the SDG, which I forget to put, which is very important point. And also we need to define a line between sustainability and self-sufficiency, because they are both integrated with each other. But we are more, because there is lots of group working on sustainability, and it is more seen from different points. And lots of group working on resilience, also resilience of the community. We are specialized in solving problems through self-sufficiency, and this maybe we need to define with time. But both of them is what you mentioned now is exactly right, but only it came to my mind in that we should mention in our project form what we focus on also. Okay, thanks a lot, ma'am. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Okay.
I think we are okay. It was very clear presentation for me, at least.
Okay. طيب. So now we will go to Prof. Jajabati, and Prof. Can you give me Dunya sharing?
You can, all participants can, but you need Chris to stop sharing so they can share.
It's already disabled.
Yeah, okay.
And I cannot, Dunya.
No, you can. I can see that everyone can.
I cannot. Now, okay, now I can. Okay. So now, Prof. Jajabat, you are there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will take off the, I will turn for you the slide. Once you tell me next, I will turn it, okay?
Okay.
You can see the screen now, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it's coming. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So the next slide, yeah.
Okay. So what's the title of your presentation? Just you can.
Title just the cultivation of white sandal for the social upliftment of rural people, incorporating modern scientific approaches and technology.
Okay.
This is the title of this project.
Okay. So just for the benefit of I might just intervene with you a little bit, because so that people, they don't get confused. You are talking about now the sandal we know, right? The sandal that is used for smell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Its smell and its antibiotic activities, antifungal activities, microorganism activities, everything. In a very nutshell, I shall try to just expose here.
Okay, sir.
So, white sandal, actually, it's an exotic in West Bengal. Survey of sandalwood plants, which was done in the year 2010 to 2012 in different forest gardens in South West Bengal, particularly in Minnapur, Bankura, Bardhaman, Birbhum district in the state of West Bengal. At that time, a few plants, I could find out a few plants there in the garden, and just took a venture for its, higher study, and what is the problem, why it is not growing in the forest garden abundantly. It was my main target. Now, of course, after 10 years, we can have more than 15 to 20,000 plants there in the garden. So at that time, West Bengal was not under the national cropping calendar, particularly for sandalwood plant at that time. Now, calendar of India. Okay. And national status was that in India, it is found distributed all over the country, and more than 90% lies in Karnataka, mainly South India, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, covering 8,300 square kilometer of area they cultivate. Other states where sandal trees are found distributed are namely Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Manipur also. The state of West Bengal is cited, now it is cited in the map, and occurrence of distribution of Santalam album in India. And internationally, the status of international, a short review I am just writing here, that is Santalam album, that is white sandal, is distributed between 30° north to 40° south from Indonesia, in the west to Juan Fernandez Islands in the east, and from Haiwan Archipelago in the north of New Zealand in the south nowadays. And nowadays, Australia is in a position to perform quality research on white sandal activities. Indeed, Australia is incorporating, importing a lot of white sandal seeds from India, and as per source of the Institute of Wood Science Technology, Bangalore. And the next one, that is just, we will go for next slide. Actually, what is the scientific nomenclature and the taxonomic position. Yeah, that is, yeah. And the binomial name of the sandal plant is Santalum album, binomial name. Under the genus Santalum, species album, and family Sandalaceae, order Santalum, clade Eudicots, Angiosperm, Tracheophytes, and kingdom Plantae. And
Okay, Prof. Jabati, sorry to interrupt again. Please try to summarize the technical issue in simple language, because all of us, we don't know. This is very specialized for us. So
there are more
simple
than,
language.
there are more than 70 species under this genera. I have highlighted here only 52. I am not going to read out all these. Just it is noted there. In the next slide, that is what is the just I am just exposing myself here in this lecture. End to beginning, just end to beginning.
Okay. May I ask you here now? So you said two issues. It is not only used for sense or smell or herbal. It is also antifungal, which is used also for solving lots of.
I am coming that. I am coming that.
Okay.
The qualitative, next slide goes, qualitative assessment, that is the chemical component in the sandalwood plants, that is sandal oil, its total santalol. Types of santalol, there are alpha santalol and beta santalol. The percentages are already shown there in the table. That is alpha santalol is 59.4%, beta santalol 30.25% in our area. The plant grows actually from that plant we extracted and found all this. And next one, uses. What are the uses? That is purpose, so many uses. I am just briefing here only. Cedar sandalwood herbal soaps, youthful skin cleaning, skin cream, skin oil, very naturally, very general people, they use all this. Youthful skin massage oil for men and women, joint shape, muscle, shape, balm, herbal, Nasia oil, Elim Tox, it is a trade name, radiant skin, smooth cycle, hot flush, relief, Maursi Amrit, it is trade name also, prostate protection, it very too much help to prostate protection, glucostate, liver balance, and vital, lady, etc. Next, beauty therapy also. In case of beauty therapy, particularly men and women, anti-tanning, anti-aging, skin softening, and clear complexion, quickly heat solution, and sandal powder very much used by the general people. And the next slide, this is other uses also. Beauty therapy. Sandalwood is best homemade treatment for acne and pimple breakout. Make a paste by mixing 1 teaspoonful sandalwood powder with half teaspoonful of turmeric powder and 1 teaspoonful of rose water. Apply a coat of this paste on your face and keep for about 20 minutes, and then wash it off with plain water, ordinary water. And by doing this, you can reduce your pimple, and also you can feel your skin very happy and very relaxed. And next one, other beauty therapy is also dysfunction exposure to sun ray and increasing age results in the formation of age spot and pigmentation. Take sandalwood powder and turmeric powder in equal quantity. It is homemade, and make a paste of milk. Add a pinch of camphor powder to it. Massage your face with the paste and leave it for the night. It not only gives you a cool feeling, but also clean away the skin marks and different bad patches and spots in the skin. And next one, similarly, there are another used in China, Japan, India, jelly. One jelly preparation, very simple jelly preparation is there. Partly daily skin care, removes the layer, dead cell deposits from the skin, soften heals, and cracked the skin and added a natural glow to the skin, to the body. Mixed sandalwood powder and black chickpea powder in equal quantity, either of milk or rose water. Just, it will help to stop the circular motion for 5 minutes. Leave it on for another 30 minutes and wash it by plain water. And this is a very effective scrub for exfoliating the skin and removing dead cells and dirty particles within the skin and impurities of the particles under the skin, and you will feel very relaxed. Similarly, other uses also medicinal. So many medicinal importance are there from the sandalwood. That is, sandal dissolves inflammation and tumor, stabilizes palpitation. Sandalwood is used as a disinfectant, very much important, disinfectant, applied to burn, fever, and headache also. It is also used in acne, biliousness and blood impurities, bronchitis, cough, depression, diarrhea, leukemia, menorrhagia, and the sore throat. It is one of the most potential anti-ulcer drug. Various uses mentioned in Ayurveda system about sandalwood that are in treatment of various other ailments like diarrhea and bleeding, intrinsic hemorrhage, bleeding of piles, vomiting, poisoning, etc. Similarly, so many religious uses are also there. That is, sandalwood is, we know that is openly used in any ritual or ceremonies in all regions in the world since our civilization. Sandalwood is considered in alternative medicine to bring one closer with the divine. Sandalwood essential oil, very expensive in its pure form. It is used primarily for Ayurvedic purposes and treating anxiety. In Buddhism, sandalwood scent helps to transform one's desires and maintain a person's alertness during meditation. Sandalwood is also one of the most popular scent used for incense, used when offering incense to the Buddha. Next slide, also domestic uses, so many domestic, that is antimicrobial activities, properties it has. It is used in aromatherapy and to prepare soaps. Due to these antimicrobial activities, it can be used to clear skin from spots and blackheads. Sandalwood paste is used as an embalming paste in temples on idols. The bindi dot is sometimes created from sandalwood paste used on forehead during worship. Similarly, the essential oil extracted from sandalwood is very much beneficial for toning up the skin as well as the healing skin disorder when applied externally. And industrial, so many industrial uses are there, so many. Great value of this species is that heartwood and oil, which are widely used in cosmetics, perfumes, toothpaste, medicine, aromatherapy, so many industries, also in the pharmaceutical industry also. And sandal bark is one of the raw material for the industry. And next one, just I'm coming. What is the sandalwood? How it looks? Mature plant in the left side. Just we will have that one mature plant of sandalwood. Next, on the right side, flower bearing twig. Next, the mature plant trunk. How it is looking? It looks like that. 1 meter almost diameter of the trunk, basal trunk. Fruit bearing twig also. varied seed coat colors of white sandal. Very in a particular, from one plant we can have variegated colors of fruits. It is the main characteristics of the sandalwood. From one single plant you can have variegated colors and seeds of white sandals like this. And another, how, next slide, that is seed bed. In the seed bed for germination, problem is one, that is for germination. Germination is naturally germinates 8 to 10% in nature, but artificially we can have up to 70%. We can be, we have proved it possible to germinate 72% maximum. The seed bed first, on the sand bed, and next one, shifting to the seedling to a hycopod in modern nursery, and hycopod, or next slide, that is in polypod also. And after 6 months or within 1 year, it is ready for plantation permanently in the land. And what type of land? Next slide, that is maintenance of field. Very two types of, I had so many locations there. I have so many locations, drought prone areas and semi drought prone areas, and different types of soils also. The variation, Bagaldhora, Hirband, all these are, Bagaldhora is a forest garden, another, Hirband is another, Rangamati is another, all these are soil color, texture, everything, and droughtness is very much separate. And we had the experiment in different areas separately. And it is very much needed for apply any host. Next slide, that is host plant. Next slide, that is sandal with different host plant. Cajanus, Cajan, Osimum species, Catharanthus roseus, Calotropis posera. I am just saying all this, I mean, scientific name of the plant. That's why it is hearing unusual terminology to general people. So we had, I mean, more than 20 host plant species, which helps to have good growth and development of the sandal plant. And host plant is very must. Map showing location experiment in Bankura next time. That is the Bardwan and Bankura district particularly. We have extensively worked there, 2 districts. And next one, that is economics. Next slide, that is economics. The sandalwood trees attained a height 12 to 15 meter and a girth of 1 to 2.4 meter in dry deciduous areas. The age of hardwood varies from locality to locality and with the age of the tree. In India, trees of 100 centimeter girth have been reported to yield in wild state, that is 85 to 240 kg of hardwood, according to the area from which they have come. And what is the revenue? Price of sandalwood at that time, in the year 2009 and 2010, each plant, we procured from each plant hardwood 485 kg. Sorry, per kilo 485. Nowadays, per kilo of hardwood cost Indian currency, it is 15,000 per kilo nowadays. And so average price per tree, that is worth rupees at least 97 lakhs. And next one, loss and profit of white sandalwood, calculation of per hectare. Next slide. Before that. Calculation per hectare, that is expenditure, that is 25 lakhs 34,800, and sale proceed, that is 527 crores per hectare. And the future prospect is there, lot of scope for future study on the various aspects of sandalwood, white sandalwood resources in India, particularly the wild population are threatened mainly because of illicit felling, forest fire, and spike disease, coupled with heavy domestic and international demand. The following topics are highlighted here, that all those are performance of sandalwood plant with association of avascular mycorrhizal fungi, that is soil fungi, how they help. It is my present study. I have one another project from GST, and standardization of manure and fertilizers application for proper growth and growth of the sandalwood field. Performance of sandalwood under different agroforestry conditions, depends on the agroclimatic condition, and study of root rhizosphere of sandalwood for its better survivability and establishment. Study of genetic improvement in hardwood quality of Santalum albumea. Study of anti-logging devices for protection of sandal plantation. And the remarks is that there are some precautions also, that is stagnant water in the field is strictly prohibited. Must provide at least one host plant. Host plant should be provided up to 3 years at least. Never depend on chemical fertilizer. Always use organic manure. Never neglect root part of the trees. It is also more precious than shoot portion. Similarly, my comment is that it has also been found that there are so many host plants. Out of those, Casanas, Osimum, Calotropis, and Catharanthus are the best host plant for the growth and development of the plant. Okay, thank you. Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot, Prof. Jajabati. Very good presentation, and I think you try to make it as simple as possible. I think there is some questions. Dr. Dunya, please, if you can manage the questions.
Yeah, there are some questions in the chat. You want to, should we start with the Prof. Chris questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Prof. Chris, do you want to say your questions, explain them, or you want me to read them? Yes.
Well, no, they're just a couple of points that I had queries about. Thank you very much for a very interesting, I'm a botanist myself, so I found your talk really interesting. Thank you. I'm not used to the term, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Ayurvedic purpose. I am not familiar with it. If you wouldn't mind explaining what that is. And the other thing was, you mentioned it was the heartwood that was mainly used, but I was wondering how the harvest can be made more sustainable, because obviously if you take the heartwood, you've destroyed the tree. So what plans are you having to make this more sustainable? You know, how long does it take to grow a tree, and how are you making sure that people aren't cutting down plants that are going to cause erosion, things like that? Maybe you could talk about the sustainability of the project. Thank you.
Actually, it's very good project, but very sustainable, very sustainable. That is why after 5-6 years, plant normally blossoms. Plant gives us the flower. I mean, maturity comes starting from 5, 6, 7 years in case of sandalwood, and heartwood formation starts at that time also. And economically, it is viable when it is 18 years or 20 years. It is economically viable. Early of that, before 18 years or 20 years, if we harvest or fill the plant, it is not economically viable. And if we wait for another 5 years or 10 years, like 30 years or 40 years, we can have more good, very good heartwood. And heartwood is the main, particularly heartwood is the very precious, which contains the beta santalol, alpha santalol, santalol oil, everything. And other softwood, that is not so much economically, it is less expensive, and heartwood is very much expensive and very much useful, particularly medicinal, I mean pharmaceutical industry or any other industrial uses, hardwood actually, it is very much. So if we want to have economic per plant, after 20 years we can have, as per the Indian currency, 1 crore at least per plant.
So what I was wondering about, for example, is can you let the trees grow really big and only harvest the branches? Because the hardwood's only the old xylem, isn't it? It's the old xylem where the oils are deposited. So is it possible to harvest the big branches without cutting down the whole tree?
Yeah, yes,
I was
yes,
just
madam.
thinking
Yes,
about
madam.
ideas like that, yes.
Big branch, it contains also hardwood. Big branch,
Yes.
yeah. Main trunk and branch also. You can have hardwood, but it is indeed, branch is very less. The sandalwood, big branch is very less. 1, 2, 3 maximum.
I see.
Not so much.
Okay.
Not so much. But even the root portion is very much precious, and the santalol oil contains in the root portion much better quality than the stem portion. Root portion is also
right. So you take the whole tree, including the roots. So then what I'm worried about is you've then got all these presumably hillsides from your photos where you would have lots of holes. What happens then? How do you before you plant new trees, what do you do to sustain that environment? That's really my question about the whole project.
Any person, if he uses sandalwood powder or sandalwood oil, very dilute form, pouring the water during the time of birth, at least once in a week, very much immunity and resistant he or she can have. Sandalwood very much antimicrobial, antifungal activities. So I also asked to the person of, one person of WHO to give me a scope to work with the COVID patient, COVID-19 patient, but they did not answer to my question, to my letter. I also asked, I want to carry out one program. So he provide me at least 100 or 50 COVID patient near Calcutta or somewhere else in India. I will try. I think Sandal album has the potentiality to fight against. I think so. So because of that, my running project, I am just trying to that the mycorrhizal and anti-fungal activities. My running project is going on still in the Tadupur University. We are trying to do something, but we also tried and asked them to give me a scope, take a venture with the COVID patient, but did not answer me.
Okay, thanks a lot, Dr. Dunya.
So yeah.
Okay, any other question?
No, I can't see any.
Okay, I might just
very vast chapter, sir. It is not a matter of 10 minutes or 15 minutes discussion. Very vast chapter. Just I have only 2 research scholars. They have did their PhD work under my supervision in West Bengal first time. So it is very vast chapter. Another antimicrobial activities and another activities, or so many activities are there. So if I get any chance near future, I will discuss. It is not a matter of 10 minutes or 30 minutes or like that. So plant is growing and serving the society more than since beginning in the ancient time of the world. So it is really.
Yes.
We do not do anything.
Thanks a lot, Prof. Jajabati, because we are running out of time. I believe that this is again the challenge for all of us, and we have lots of huge experience, and we want to simplify it as much as we can, and you manage, alhamdulillah, to do that. The other issue is that we still have, beside the video, we have lots of platforms. We can for the SF, the Self-Sufficiency Network. We encourage, for example, writing a paper. Now, first time I hear from you, even though I got your work before for the conference and so on, first time I hear that you have proposed or you can work with COVID research and so on. So why we don't publish this? This is, you can publish it through the SFN network, and we publish it for you, or you publish it in our journals, or we publish it together. Even I am suggesting, even for me as an author, I'll be interested if we see really evidence-based research that we can publish, because this will help the world. Now the whole world, what is our contribution as scientists and scholars is that we propose something. Maybe someone else will take your idea, not necessarily you do it. Maybe some bigger, large lab group, they will come and take your idea and develop it. And that's our contribution. That's what, so I would encourage you that you please write it down in a paper and let us discuss how we publish it.
Within a couple of weeks, I will send you a couple of papers. Sure.
Okay, sure. About the COVID. Thanks a lot again for this great presentation. And I have put a comment from my good I can because since we can take the thing for people, our youth there, Paul and other people there. Try to combine it with your products. Whether it is semi-finished, I advise that you go for semi-finished and you do it in there in Ghana, so that you can make a profit for it for the rural communities that we are working with. The second thing, which is I like the good thing about the Sandal that I learned today, and frankly, I know the Sandal as a smell. I didn't know its utilization, and that's the benefit of we are coming from different background. The good thing about the Sandal, now I learned from Prof. Jawati, is that the span, you can use it in different things. You can start now with beauty, but later we can develop maybe other things. The other thing is that we can go and exploit this resource even in the rural area in India, where we bring higher end products. But again, all our projects, this is what all of us should remember, always should be within $1,000, not less than, not more than $1,000, because we cannot afford it. We are not a big organization, and I don't think people will donate more than hundreds of dollars for such projects, at least from our side. Now someone else. Now, what is the good thing also, guys? And we are publishing this video. These videos are published. We put it in our website, and many people, they come to us and they say, we want the contact of this person. So we give them your contact, for example. So they go and do if they want to do extra thing with you, they can do the extra. But our purpose is focus on exploiting the resources, putting it in the rural communities, managing that, improve the self-sufficiency in the background and mindset of the people. That's our focus area. The other point is that really about sharing the benefit of the natural resources. I think there is lots of natural resources. Maybe Prof. Jabati, which maybe you can make for us like a list from them in India. I will leave this for you, and I want it like you are like our expert now. Make a list for us for all the natural resources that is underutilized, that we can utilize, and put it in different rural communities, specifically in India first, and then maybe in other countries similar to weather to India also.
It is my humble submission. In the world, a few countries, they are dealing and cultivating the sandalwood, but other countries, there are ample scope to grow sandalwood, and the people can earn per plant 1 crore each plant. 1 crore Indian, as per Indian money, 1 crore.
Wow.
Just convert.
So you are saying the return is high, especially if we work on it with the poor people, right? That's what you're saying.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, I think the guys from Sudan, as usual, again, they could not attend, but they sent me their presentation, but I don't want to present on their behalf. I prefer that they present, since some of the things I don't agree with, and also it's not related to us directly. So I leave it for next time. and we'll go to the project application form just quickly, not 10 minutes, just quickly. All of you seen our project application form? Yes? If you cannot answer, at least raise.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So give us a reaction, and if there is any correction, I'm emphasizing, and now we have a WhatsApp group. Either you send it to us through WhatsApp group or through email to ensure that we finalize this form. And because this form, we want to use it now more and more for the coming projects as a SFN. And we have our own form, which is, I think, Godfred, Paul, and those people who working with me, they know for inspiration economy. But I developed one especially for the specific focus of the self-sufficiency. Now, the second issue about the framework for the network, I prefer, and I will talk about the main line, as I called it, okay, of our our strategy, and maybe we discuss more and more every time. Okay, since now lots of people could not attend today. I think Iraq, they are having problem with the internet. So all people from Iraq, I think I can see Ahmad, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, Ahmad I see, but Prof. Talal and Prof. Sajid, they have written to me that they could not because of the internet problem. Anyway, I will now share with you just quickly the main line, and maybe you have a comment. I will just go through it in 5 minutes, if I may, and then we will conclude, inshallah, for today. Okay, so this is. You can see now, right?
Okay, sir.
Can you see all? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the main line of the strategy I sent you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will not read the purpose. I will read only that we are focusing on now, even if this is our time. I think this is the right time. Lots of countries, they started to speak about self-sufficiency. We have experts like specialized experts like Jajabati, like Anna and others who are specialized. Alinka with us now today here, and others from different countries. So we have now we have reached I think more than 30 countries that are members or representatives from different experts in different fields also. So this is an opportunity, and we'll develop more. People are interested, but I want to make sure that they are serious when they join the network. The approaches, I put only mainly 2 points about purpose and approaches. The approaches is that we create positive contribution in the communities, which support the inspiration economy, which is the founder of this initiative. Also emphasize that it address specific project views. We use project proposals. We use also global study. Now, by the way, and whatever we have published global studies that we publish in the on the journals, different journals, including our journals, we are getting thousands of readers from the knowledge community, not hundreds, thousands in just a few months, which means that people are interested in these global studies. This is what it means for us, and we're getting lots of comments and some citations. Okay. Yeah, for example, some papers we got even more than 11,000 people who have read it from the ResearchGate community. So that's for us, which we didn't get before for all our publication before. Which this means that self-sufficiency, COVID-related publications that is focused on solving problems are highly on demand. Okay. The other issue that our focus will be focusing on solving problems other than self-sufficiency, which address both life and livelihood. What address issue of the lockdown, of the disease, or whatever, if we can, like now Jajabati, he opened a subject for us that we didn't know about, or livelihood. It will open opportunity for people to deal with such incidences. They can survive by utilizing these resources or selling it to nearby countries and so on. And then improve the quality of life, reduce the unemployment. Unemployment is getting very high, and lots of people are affected, especially in country where they don't have, they are not rich developing countries, or even in developed countries where in certain areas they are getting lots of unemployment. So we need to help in reducing the unemployment by our spillovers by emphasizing such projects, or the mindset at least. So these case studies, again, we are emphasizing that we want to publish it. Prof. Chris already published hers, Jajabati will publish, and so on, so that we share it with the whole people and they can use it more and more. So it is a type of social innovation, bringing creative solutions, improving environmental protection, opening proactive dialogue with the different communities, okay? And it is shifting our mindset to the business model, freeing the business models. Okay, and you can have abundance of resources. Now, we want to change. This is an opportunity to shake up the mindset of the people, the capital-based economy mindset, that it is not supply versus demand, but it is capacity versus demand. We need a mindset that we raise our capacity, we re-evaluate our assets, so that we come up with different solutions. So, of course, we need to use now more social media and so on. I think this will come with time. I'm taking it step by step, so that we develop such initiative in a proper way. We encourage that you bring more people to this program. So please help us in getting good members who are committed for this cause. And we can learn from them, for sure. They can, even if they teach us, do workshops for us, we are willing to listen and to learn and so on, so that we can spread the message all over the world. I added a point I got, I think, from Prof. Chris, besides whatever I sent you. Yeah, this is what I understood from Prof. Chris in her email, in that this network should utilize existing communities initiatives and platform to push for self-sufficiency concepts, and beside would establish its own competitions, prizes, and awards or programs or schemes. Am I right, Prof. Chris? That's maybe what you meant to say, right?
Right.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure that there was that, transformational change is often easier to bring about if you start with what's already there in the community and build on that. And I gave the example of a chain of supermarkets in New Zealand, where we're actually working with training the people who work there to recycle, and that will add lean production to the economy, but will also make those individuals more aware. So thank you for adding that. I think that's lovely.
Okay, but the chain thing, I did not see it. So can you send it to me? I will.
You've got that there. I think that's there. Yes, you have number 11. That is what I was talking about. Yes.
Okay. But the chain, I mean, I want to understand more about the chain. Can you give us maybe 2-3 slides? I want to keep it also, and it might open for us another, self-sufficiency scope is very high. We want to keep it very high, yes, so that we can use it.
You mean about transformational change?
Yes, about this specifically the supermarket project. We are interested to know more about it, inshallah.
Okay, next time. I can't give you that at the moment, but because I'm just working with the company. But as soon as I've taken it to the next stage, I will be glad to share it. But I can't just at the minute. I'm just talking to them about this idea, and they're going to sponsor the prizes, which I think is quite exciting.
Okay. Anyway, as I have written in the chat, in New Zealand and also Slovenia and many countries, we are having also people from Finland. They said they will join us, inshallah, soon. These countries, you are leading the world in the self-sufficiency, the greenery areas, and so on. So we hope we learn more and more every time you feel that you have good practices. Please suggest so that we can share it with all. Okay, I'd like to thank you again for your commitment today. I know today we are a small group, but always I say small is beautiful. So I hope, inshallah, we continue to keep up this work. The reflection of this will go either in papers. This is not only for video or for YouTube, but we'll put in YouTube. But whatever you write and comment or you say in your presentation, believe it or not, I reflect it into our papers, which we include your name with us. and help us to develop more work, inshallah, in the future. And we are very serious, as you can see. When I say something initiative, alhamdulillah, and I think God friend, he knows that how much I'm serious. When we say something, we do it, inshallah. Thanks a lot, and we hope we get your support always. Thanks a lot. Brother from Palestine, you want to say something? Yusuf. صوت بسرعة.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. تفضل.
You know, regarding sustainability and regarding self-sufficiency, really this is a critical thing that we are facing in Palestine. When you are talking about planting trees or how, this is because a critical question, how you can create sustainability, also self-sufficiency under the occupation who's facing or trying to demonize all what you construct or what you build. When you talk about uprooting 2 million olive trees, that the main income for lots of families, and the thousands of families, they lost their land, and now we have the annexation plan that will lead to expulsion of thousands of people from their land. Really, this is the question, because the instability in our situations and circumstances lead me to ask maybe your help, how we can develop like approach that counterfight these procedures or these actions is carried by the let's say the occupation forces to help the farmers, to help the people who are trying to plant even sometimes their gardens or the their roofs, or because really it's very hard thing when you talk about sustainability with these circumstances.
Okay. Jazakallah khair. Yusuf, I think the point is clear, and now my suggestion for you, and you describe for us what is the, okay, all of us, we know the situation in Palestine, and I think even you, and I would say even you are more relaxed than Gaza in your area, inside Israel or inside the Palestine occupied area. You are more relaxed than Gaza. So you describe for us situation, and let us see how much creativity that come from this group. We have many scientists who can see things from different perspectives, and especially as you said, now let's focus on self-sufficiency. We cannot counter back things, but what we can say, we can compensate and we can absorb, or we can create a resilient solution.
I think the point that he had already made, though, about the rooftop gardens, I really think that what you have mentioned yourself is a really good solution, because then people can grow, even in plastic bags, you can grow quite big trees. The plastic does tend to deteriorate in the sunlight, but if you do that, you can actually then, if you have a problem, you can actually move the trees if they're actually in containers, even if the containers are put in the ground, recycled containers, and put in the ground. You can, if you have a problem, the farmers can pick them up more easily and move them somewhere else, even onto their rooftop. So I think what you mentioned yourself warrants further investigation of some trials to see how you can do that. So I think building on, that was my point in my talk, if you can build on ideas you've already got, and we can help you with some other ideas, maybe we can trial some things for you, and then help you to find your own solutions that will work, because we know it's really difficult.
I have something.
And Yusuf, I want to say something, Yusuf, before you comment. And this is one of the benefit of the background of inspiration economy, beside the self-sufficiency, is that we like to try. I told you, but our limits always, and also easier for you, because we cannot transfer for you lots of amount of money if we have money. So if you can bring projects within $500, I told you before, which is well explained, tested, and you try it and give it to youth, because lots of youth unemployed. This is what we want. We want something that people can survive on, bring innovation for it. And by the way, sometimes keeping under pressure, this what makes different Palestinian people from any other people in the world, or the Arab people at least. Okay, because you are under pressure, you are always innovative, you are always creative, okay, and so on. So I believe in, let's see, that it is a problem, yes, but it is have lots of opportunities if we start to try, because we cannot, even the creative, let's create those who are very specialized among us, they cannot give you a 100% solution. What they give you, they give you a testing possibility.
Yes,
so you need to test.
I need to highlight about an attempt is like to break the siege that we are facing now. We have friends in Germany, and we are trying to register a company for export the Palestinian products. And this is something that we are asking for any of you who are in the group to help us in marketing the Palestinian products, especially with the coronavirus. The situation became very, it's like more complicated actually. We can't move easily. We can't even people, they can't, just in the neighboring village now there is a siege because most of the village being affected by COVID-19. So that will help us a lot if there is a chance for the people who are trying to help us, maybe to put us in contact with maybe supermarkets or to buy the Palestinian products. That will help lots of farmers to survive. This is something, if there is a possibility maybe to.
For that again, this can be again put in a you have our proposal, project proposal form. If it is within either building context, alhamdulillah. So you have, for example, I know that you have communicated with Godfred. Okay.
Yes.
How can Godfred represent you not only in he have his own company, okay, through Inspiration Economy? How he can represent you in all West Africa, because Ghana is one of the developed emerging economy countries in the world, and especially in West Africa. So this is a good opportunity, and they don't have, I think, olive oil. I never seen olive oil except in the your area, that area. Okay, so that's an area where they don't have and you have. Same thing, they have something they want to share with you. Same thing with I think like New Zealand is a good area, because in New Zealand have very high contact also with Australia. You have also Slovenia and so on, India. So you need to now benefit from these guys, and you have all the emails. Try to share your projects both in from our official side and also through communicating with these people, inshallah. And I'm willing always to help you. I have thousands of contacts around the world. Okay. And Palestine, always I say proudly, Palestine in our heart and minds. And I say this proudly. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thanks a lot, Prof. Anna. You came late, but maybe you want to have any comment, Prof. Anna, before I conclude.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Dr. Mohammed. I'm on the computer without camera, so I have some technical problems. And excuse me, I cannot be in the beginning with you. I don't know all what you speak. I'm just 5 minutes with you, so. And I will continue, and I want to know what all you suggest and which new ideas you have. So I follow you.
Okay, so we will send you the video because now we're concluding, and also we'll send you the chat.
Yeah.
We have written our comments in the chat because the chat have lots of information, and I think this today's session is one of the best sessions we have. This is our third official meeting, but it's one of the successful ones. Yeah.
Great. Super.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot for your support and leadership. I wish you all the best, and hope to see you, inshallah, soon in the next meetings. Please support us whatever way you can, and please invite people to join if you believe that they can help us in spreading our ideas all over the world.
Yes, I will. Now it's in June and in August, it is so a little not good time because many people in Slovenia they're on the holidays, because only in July and August they can be, and my colleagues they are professors at the universities, and all of them can have a holiday only in July and August. So perhaps it's
Okay.
so not good time, but I will spread all of these ideas and so to email them. Yes.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Prof. Anna, and thanks a lot. Good night for all, and good morning for some of you. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Assalamu
you.
alaikum. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
شكرا دكتورة دنيا. Thanks.
Bye bye.